Imagine waking up one ordinary morning and everything feels completely normal. People are driving to work, drinking coffee, scrolling through their phones, and thinking about simple daily problems like what to eat later that evening. Somewhere, a child is getting ready for school. Somewhere else, someone is watching the sunrise from their apartment window without realizing it may be the last sunrise humanity will ever see. Then suddenly, without warning, the sun disappears. No explosion tears across the sky. No giant shockwave races toward Earth. No dramatic sound echoes through the atmosphere. The sun is simply gone. And the most terrifying part is that nobody on Earth would realize it immediately. Because sunlight takes approximately 8 minutes and 20 seconds to travel from the sun to Earth, life would continue normally during those final minutes. Cars would still move through crowded streets. Birds would still fly through the air. People would continue laughing, arguing, working, and living their lives, completely unaware that the center of our solar system no longer exists. Then, exactly 8 minutes and 20 seconds later, everything would change instantly. The sky would suddenly go black. Not dark blue like nighttime, not orange like sunset, but a deep, endless cosmic blackness unlike anything humanity has ever experienced before. The moon would disappear as well because moonlight is only reflected sunlight. Within seconds, billions of stars would become visible overhead, filling the sky with an overwhelming number of lights hidden during the daytime. At first, many people would think it was some kind of global blackout, an eclipse, or perhaps even a military attack. Social media would explode into chaos. Emergency broadcasts would interrupt television channels around the world. Astronomers and scientists would desperately search for answers while governments tried to prevent mass panic. But slowly, the horrifying truth would spread across the planet. The sun was gone forever. At that exact same moment, something even more terrifying would happen. Earth would stop orbiting the sun. According to theory of relativity, gravity does not act instantly. Its effects travel at the speed of light. That means Earth would continue orbiting normally for those final 8 minutes and 20 seconds. But once the sun's gravitational influence vanished, our planet would no longer move in a curved orbit around it. Instead, Earth would shoot forward into deep space in a perfectly straight line, like a stone released from a sling. Humanity would suddenly become passengers on a frozen rogue planet, drifting through the darkness of the galaxy with no destination and no way back. For the first few hours, the world would descend into unimaginable confusion. Power grids would begin failing under massive stress as billions of people desperately searched for information. Religious groups might claim it was the end of the world. Financial systems would collapse almost instantly. Governments would declare global emergencies while scientists attempted to explain what humanity was facing. Yet physically, Earth would still feel relatively normal at first because our atmosphere and oceans retain heat surprisingly well. But that temporary warmth would not last long. Within just a few days, temperatures around the globe would begin dropping below freezing. Within a week, Earth's average temperature would fall to around -17 degrees Celsius. After a single year, the average temperature could plunge below -70 degrees, turning most of the planet into an uninhabitable frozen wasteland. The oceans would slowly begin freezing from the surface downward. Massive sheets of ice would spread across seas and coastlines until entire oceans were buried beneath thick frozen layers. However, interestingly, Earth would not freeze solid immediately. Deep beneath the ice, the lower parts of the oceans could remain liquid for millions of years because geothermal heat from Earth's core would still exist. Near underwater hydrothermal vents, strange ecosystems of bacteria and deep-sea organisms might continue surviving long after the surface world had died. In some ways, the bottom of the ocean could become the last living place on Earth. But for humans, survival would become almost impossible. Agriculture would collapse within days because plants require sunlight for photosynthesis. Crops across the planet would die rapidly, causing global famine on a scale humanity has never experienced before. Animals would begin disappearing, food chains would collapse, and entire ecosystems would fail one after another. Even if electricity remained available for a while, fuel shortages and infrastructure breakdowns would eventually cripple civilization. Humanity would likely attempt to retreat underground where geothermal heat and nuclear energy could still provide warmth and power. Underground bunkers and massive subterranean cities might become the final refuges of human civilization. Countries with strong geothermal energy sources, such as Iceland, could suddenly become some of the most valuable and strategic places on Earth. But perhaps the most horrifying effect would not be physical at all. It would be psychological. Human beings evolved beneath sunlight. Every civilization in history was built around the cycle of day and night. Our minds are deeply connected to mornings, sunsets, warmth, seasons, and blue skies. Without the sun, humanity would lose not only light but also its sense of time itself. There would be no sunrise tomorrow, no dawn, no natural rhythm. Only endless darkness stretching infinitely into the future. Many people would likely fall into severe depression or panic as weeks turned into months without seeing daylight again. For the first time in human history, people might truly understand how small and fragile humanity really is compared to the scale of the universe. And the horror would continue growing. The sun does far more than simply provide heat and light. It also acts as a protective shield. Through solar wind and magnetic activity, the sun helps protect Earth from dangerous cosmic radiation traveling through space. Without that protection, Earth could become increasingly exposed to deadly high-energy particles capable of damaging living cells and electronic systems alike. Over long periods of time, even Earth's atmosphere could begin collapsing and freezing onto the surface itself. The planet would slowly transform into a silent frozen sphere, drifting endlessly through interstellar darkness. Yet perhaps the most disturbing thought of all is that Earth itself might continue existing for billions of years after humanity disappears. Our frozen world could wander endlessly through the Milky Way as a rogue planet with no star to orbit. Theoretically, after millions or even billions of years, Earth might drift close enough to another star to become captured by a completely new solar system. In an unimaginably distant future, another sunrise could someday shine across Earth's frozen surface. But humanity would almost certainly never survive long enough to witness it. And maybe the scariest realization is this: to the universe, none of this would be extraordinary. Across the cosmos, stars are constantly being born, dying, exploding, and vanishing. Entire solar systems disappear every single day in the vast darkness of space. Humanity exists only because one ordinary yellow star has continued burning steadily for billions of years. Every morning when the sun rises, it feels completely normal to us. We barely even think about it anymore. But in reality, that glowing object in our sky is the thin line separating life from total extinction.
Thanks so much for watching my video. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like and consider subscribing. It really helps the channel grow and keeps me motivated to create more content like this. Also, if you want to be notified right away whenever I upload a new video, make sure to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Thanks again for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.